You're the father, Aaron. I don't care what anyone says. The words hit me like a speeding train. My coffee mug slipped from my fingers, shattering against the hardwood floor. The noise didn't register, that I could only hear the thudding of my heart and the sound of my brother's wife, Emma, staring me in the eyes, her voice shaking, her expression unreadable. I'm sorry, she whispered, softer now, but it's the truth. Everything inside me screamed no. My name is Aaron Blake, 29, a high school English teacher in a sleepy Michigan town. I never had much, a modest apartment, a car that coughed to life each morning, and a habit of staying out of people's business. But the one thing I cherished? My family. Especially my older brother, Daniel. He was the golden one, the strong, kind firefighter who everyone loved. He married Emma 5 years ago, and though we were never especially close, I respected her. She was beautiful, ambitious, and smart, the kind of woman who made everyone around her feel a little smaller without even trying. Life had its normal ups and downs, until the night she showed up on my doorstep, eyes red and hands trembling. She didn't ask to come in. She just looked at me and said the words that would haunt me for the rest of my life. I remember feeling paralyzed, rooted in disbelief. I hadn't spoken to Emma in any meaningful way in months. Our interactions were limited to polite family dinners and occasional holiday texts. You're not making sense, I managed to say. This isn't even possible. I don't know how it happened, she said, stepping into my apartment uninvited. I just know that. I'm pregnant and I can't explain it any other way. The implication cut deeper than a knife. Are you saying we were together? I asked, my voice cracking. She nodded slowly. It was after Daniel's birthday party. You don't remember? No. I shouted. I would never, Emma, are you serious? Tears welled in her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were real or manufactured. I didn't want this, she said. I didn't plan any of this, but I can't lie anymore. I need to tell Daniel. He deserves to know. I couldn't breathe. What was this? A cruel joke, a breakdown, a lie. And yet, her eyes, there was something there. Pain, guilt, truth. The days that followed were a blur of nightmares. Emma didn't go to Daniel, not yet. She said she wanted to give me time to prepare. What was I preparing for? A bomb to explode in my brother's marriage. To be branded a liar, a cheat? I tried to talk to her again, begged her to tell the truth. But she stood firm. Maybe you don't remember. Maybe you were drunk. But it happened. I began questioning myself that I remembered the party. I had a few drinks that I'd stayed late helping clean up. But I'd crashed on the couch, alone. Had I blacked out? Had something happened? I couldn't live with the doubt. So I did the only thing I could. I confronted my brother. We met at our favorite fishing spot, the one Dad used to take us to before he passed. Daniel sat on the cooler, legs swinging over the dock, looking so normal that it made what I was about to say feel like a betrayal. I need to tell you something. I started. He looked over, smiling. You're not dying, are you? I laughed bitterly. No, but you might want to punch me after this. His smile faded. I told him everything, what Emma said, what I remembered, what I didn't remember. He stared into the lake the whole time, silent. Still, when I finished he stood, fists clenched, and walked to his truck without a word. The silence was worse than any blow he could have dealt me. Emma told him the next day, or maybe he confronted her, I'll never know. But 3 days later, he showed up at my school, red-eyed and wild. My students had just left, and I was locking up. You lied to me, he said, his voice quiet, deadly. I didn't, I said, stepping back. Daniel, I don't remember anything happening. I swear. She told me she was scared to tell you, that you came onto her. I reeled. What? No, that's not what she told me. She said I got her pregnant. He shoved me hard. So, which is it? You're a blackout drunk or a rapist? I had no answer. That my lungs felt crushed. He didn't punch me. I almost wish he had. He turned and left. Weeks passed that I was suspended from school after a parent overheard the rumors circulating. Emma wasn't quiet. The story had spread like poison. But something didn't add up. One night, desperate, I drove to her office building. I waited in my car until I saw her walk out. She looked exhausted, frail. I approached her. Why are you doing this? I asked, voice trembling. Why lie? She turned to me, eyes wet. I'm not lying. Yes, you are. You're lying, Emma. Her hands shook as she pulled something from her bag. A small folded paper, a sonogram. I don't know who else it could be, she whispered. Daniel and I haven't been together in months. He doesn't want kids. He hasn't touched me since December. I looked at the paper, a date, the conception range. I did the math. That night, the birthday party. Emma, I said, even if something happened, you drugged me? Do you hear how insane this sounds? I didn't, she said quickly, but her voice faltered. That was when I saw it. Guilt. Real guilt. The next morning, I called an old friend, Jenna, who worked at the same firm as Emma. I told her everything, hoping she'd shut me down and call me crazy. She didn't. I shouldn't tell you this, she whispered. But Emma's been seeing someone. A partner. Married. They've been sneaking around for months. People talk. My blood froze. Do you know who? I asked. She hesitated. His name's Marcus Wyatt. I knew that name. Wealthy. Mid-40s. Sleazy reputation. I had proof now. Maybe not ironclad, but enough. I hired a lawyer. The confrontation happened in a courtroom, not a criminal one, but a defamation case. My reputation was in tatters. I'd lost my job. My neighbors whispered. Emma sat across from me, pale, lips trembling. Marcus Wyatt never showed up, but her phone records did. Did the surveillance footage of her car parked outside Marcus's townhouse. And the paternity test I requested once the baby was born? Not a match. Not even close. Emma never apologized, not directly. But she broke down in court, sobbing. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I thought if I pinned it on someone close, I could keep it quiet. Marcus said he'd ruin me if I told the truth. Daniel filed for divorce a week later. I was reinstated at school after months of hearings. But the whispers never stopped. Some people believed me. Others didn't. I moved away not long after. Changed cities, started over. Daniel and I haven't spoken since. I don't blame him. How do you rebuild trust after that? Chapter 10. Letters never sent. Sometimes I write him letters. I don't send them, I don't think he'd read them. But if I did, they'd say this. Daniel, I'm sorry you were caught between the woman you loved and the brother you thought you knew. I'm sorry your world crumbled. I'm sorry for the lie that took your marriage, your trust, and your peace. I didn't betray you. But I understand why you believed I did. I hope one day you'll remember that I would have taken a bullet for you. And in a way, I did. Epilogue. Healing in fragments. It's been 3 years. I live near the coast now, in a quiet town where no one knows my story. I teach again. I have a dog named Leo, and I sleep through most nights without waking up in a cold sweat. Emma moved to Chicago. I hear she gave the baby up for adoption. Daniel's still fighting fires. Sometimes I see him in my dreams. We're kids again, throwing rocks in the lake, laughing about things that don't matter. Then I wake up, and I remember that not all wounds heal with time. Some just stop bleeding, but the scar stays.